So basically the main character is a guy called Ash Lynx. That's not his actual name, it's just a student. He's the 17-year-old leader of a gang, which normally wouldn't really make sense, but he also ran away from home after he killed his rapist and was kidnapped into a ring of child prostitution which was run by some old dude named Dino. Some pretty fucked up shit. Except, goddamn does Banana Fish explore this well. Anyway, Ash's brother Griffin is an Iraq War veteran, but since he came back from Iraq, the only 2 words he said were banana fish, and he's pretty much unresponsive, so Ash has made it his life's goal to find out what the hell banana fish is, hence the name of the anime. Our other main character is a guy called Eiji Ukumura, who's an 18-year-old reporter from Japan here with his buddy Ibe to report on gangs in the US, and he hits it off with Ash almost immediately. Eiji falls into the classic trap of wrong place at the wrong time, and while he's talking to Ash, a bunch of people from their enemy gang show up and shoot up the bar, so everyone's fleeing. Ash is kicking ass, and this 12E skip takes Eiji out a back exit that leads to a sewer which goes to the street, but they're stopped by the bad guys, and the bad guys take them hostage, so obviously Ash tries to go after them. So he hops on his right-hand man Shorter's motorcycle and speeds after them. A bunch of stuff happens and Ash is captured as well, but jokes they break out, and then for plot convenience, Eiji is a high jumper and he vaults a fucking giant wall to get help from everyone from the other side, and there's a big standoff and Shorter and Co shows up and beats the crap out of the bad guys. I don't really remember the details, but one of the dudes shoots Skip and Ash rages and then he kills the guy and he ends up in prison. Big surprise. So in prison, Eiji and Ibe come visit him, and Ash meets one of Ibe's old friends called Max, and they manage to make arrangements for Max to be Ash's cellmate because anyone else would rape him because Ash is a pretty boy. So then what happens is that Ash tries to get Eiji to help him out by smuggling him a message with instructions, so now Eiji's supposed to go to Chinatown and look for Shorter, and he does, and he finds Shorter, and it's all great and yeehaw until oops, turns out Eiji was being followed, and now people are onto him. Anyway, we can skip a bunch of stuff in between until fucking Yutlung shows up. Now, Yutlung is a real bitch. Let me tell you, he's like evil mother-in-law energy. He's also low-key a trap. So Yutlung pretends to be on everyone's side, but then he ends up in charge of Shorter because Shorter is Ash's BFF, but he's also the leader of the Chinatown gang and the Chinese people. Did I mention that Shorter is Chinese? And Yutlung is like, would you betray your own people for a white boy? So he makes Shorter help him kidnap Eiji to bait Ash into coming back to Dino. Quick reminder, Dino is Ash's old pimp. Blah blah, all this shit happens, Shorter and Eiji ends up in the hands of the bad guys, and obviously Ash comes after them and has to face his fears with Dino, and Dino's like, haha, banana fish is a drug and I just tested it on your BFF Shorter. So it turns out banana fish is a drug that makes you do whatever people want you to do, which doesn't really make sense, but okay, plot convenience. And this evil scientist dude, whose name I actually don't remember because I was too busy screaming Shorter, no, gives it to Shorter, and Shorter's basically been reduced to a rabid dog at this point, so Dino lets the gang loose in his weird sex dungeon. And then the bad guys are like, Lamau, Ash is right here, kill Eiji, and Ash is like, Shorter, no, and Eiji's like, Shorter, no, and Shorter's like, rawr. Oh, did I mention the gang went to Cape Cod in LA earlier? And Eiji and Ash had a whole moment, but that's not very important. Anyway, for some reason Arthur, who helped kidnap Eiji in the first episode, remember him? Me neither. Well, he's here, so he eats Eiji a knife, and he's like, Lamau, defend yourself, and it's your life or Shorter's, and Eiji just swings it around like, Shorter, it's me, man, remember me, come on, it's Eiji, Shorter, man, come on, it's me. But like, Shorter ain't there anymore, buddy, it's Shorter on crack. So basically, Arthur's like, Lamau, Ash, look, I have a gun, you can have it, there's one bullet, and I'ma let you go. So it's Eiji or Shorter, your choice, and obviously, Ash shoots Shorter in the chest and kills him, because Eiji is basically a helpless and unhelpful kitten who can't defend himself. Talk about damsel in distress. Anyway, our mother-in-law over here is a mixed morality, so after the whole debacle is over, he gives Ash a key, and everyone breaks out, and newsflash, we have a new character, he's a small Chinese boy named Sing, and he's angry because he found out that Ash killed Shorter. Anyway, when Ash busts everyone out, the last place he goes is the lab where they're keeping Shorter's corpse to make sure that no one can experiment on his corpse, so he sets the fucker on fire. And in perfect convenient timing, Sing shows up and is like, Ash, what are you doing? And Ash is like, fuck off, Sing. And Sing is like, Ash, did you kill him? Did you kill him? And Ash is like, fuck off, Sing. So you can imagine how well that relationship is going. So Shorter is confirmed dead, and this leaves Sing in charge of the Chinatown gang. So some irrelevant stuff happens again with Dino and Arthur and everyone, remember them? Back on track. So basically Arthur challenges Ash to a knife fight. Also somewhere in between there was some crying, but I don't really remember. Anyway, back to the knife fight. It's at a subway station that's supposed to be shut, and this new character Kane is ref, but Sing shows up and he's like, Lamau, can I watch? And Ash and Kane are like, sure. And Ash and Arthur have a go at each other for a few minutes until the train shows up full of Arthur's buddies, and everyone's like, this isn't supposed to happen, there are no trains, what? So Sing is like, Ash, take your gun, which I'm holding for some reason, and yeets it at him, and Ash kills a bunch of people, and it turns out Sing's Chinatown gang was hidden in the subway station because they knew this was gonna happen. And at this point, Arthur is like the only one who doesn't have a gun, so he's like the dictionary definition of bringing a knife to a gunfight, and they slash each other up more, and they're on top of a bridge now because that's totally the best place to have a knife fight where you can be seen. Anyway, Ash fucking kills him, and everyone standing below the bridge is cheering, and it's all yeehaw for about 5 seconds, except oh fuck, the NYPD is here because Ash Lynx is a wanted man, and also Eiji is there, by the way. Anyway, Sing and Eiji are thrown into a holding cell because of their involvement with the knife fight, and Ash is rushed to the hospital because he collapses of blood loss. Then bitchy mother-in-law Yutlung shows up in his fabulousness and bails them out to keep them hostage. On the other side of New York, Ash is in a hospital, and a fake nurse tries to inject a drug into his IV, so he fucking kills her, but that doesn't stop him from being kidnapped. And also the people who kidnapped him faked his death, and Eiji sees it on TV and is like, bro, so Eiji and Sing are just sitting ducks in Yutlung's fabulous mansion. So it turns out that Ash has been taken to this creepy mental institution, which actually isn't a mental institution, it's just a cover-up for a banana fish testing facility, and surprise, guess who's involved in it? It's Dino. So Ash charms his way out of yet another situation by seducing one of the guards and stealing his key, and oh, Ibe and Max are relevant again. They've also broken him to bust Ash out, and now introducing Blanca, the incredibly gay sniper, and also the dude who taught Ash everything he knows about breaking people's necks. The second half moves a lot slower, and a lot less shit happens, so we can skip most of it, except Blanca tries to snipe AG through the window, and Ash is like, are you fucking kidding me? Not my man. So AG's in quarantine and can't leave the house since he's being targeted. Oh yeah, at some point they busted AG and Sing out of Yetlung's fabulous mansion. I forgot how. Also, that was a while ago. Skip back to now, blah blah blah, something about Blanca, blah blah blah, something about Ash's dark past. Ash tells AG to go back to Japan because he doesn't belong in Ash's world and he won't survive there, which is a fair point, and also there's a fair amount of crying at many points, but AG's like, dude, no, and he should fucking listen, but he didn't, because Dino comes for Ash again, and he's like, see your boyfriend over there? Yeah, I'm gonna kill him if you don't agree to be my slave again, and Ash is immediately like, yeah, sure, why not? Did I mention Yetlung teamed up with Dino? Because he did. So Dino's like, I'm not gonna make you fuck people, I'm gonna make you work to the bone doing stonks. And now you're gonna be the heir of my company, and you're also my son now. And Ash in his head is like, no, what's worse than girls so romantic? We're gonna ignore how fucked up that is. So Ash comes down with some bad anorexia, and he can't eat because he's so fucking unhappy at Dino's, and AG and Sing are best bros now, and they're here to bust him out. Surprise, Max is back, and he comes back at really inconvenient times. Did I mention Max is an ex-wife? She's very important, but also not really. If you forget her, it's cool. Everyone is back in the hideout and doing great, and everything's great, and AG and Ash are hanging out. AG is really sweet, and he's like, Ash, let me teach you Japanese, but then some men who are working for Yetlung show up and fucking shoot AG in the chest because this bitch can't have a moment to himself. So everyone freaks out, and Sing is like yelling, and they take AG away, and Ash is like, no, and Max is like, you can't go because you're a criminal, and also you're supposed to be dead and it's past your bedtime. Okay, we're almost at the end this time, I promise. AG's in the hospital, and Ash is being really angsty, and he decides he wants to go see AG one last time because he has to go fight a death match. So he goes to AG, and he stands by him while he sleeps, and he cries, and he walks out, and AG wakes up and sees him walking out and jumps out of bed, and he tries to chase him, and he yells out for him, but it's only a whisper, and oh my god, it's so dramatic, and they reach out for each other, and then conveniently, guess who shows up again? It's eBay and Max, the cock blocks. And AG's like, Ash, run, they're gonna take you, run, run, run. So in typical bad guys, poor planning fashion, they decide to hold all the documents relevant to Banana Fish in a fucking briefcase, and said briefcase is thrown around between people back and forth, and Ash gets it, and he's running around fighting the evil Colonel Fox. How did we get here? Don't ask me because I don't know either. Just make up your own explanation for how we got here because it doesn't really matter and everything will work. So Blanca has switched sides and is now helping Ash out, and Sing is also here to help Ash. Fox wrestled Ash to the ground and sticks a knife in Ash's shoulder. And Ash, being the resourceful, feisty teenager he is, grabs the power drill, which is conveniently lying nearby, and fucking power drills Fox's chest, throwing him off. In the meantime, Sing is hanging off the edge of the building like, bro, Ash, the files, I'm holding onto them in one hand, but I also have one hand on the building. And Ash is like, bro, give me your other hand. And Sing is like, but dude, Ash, the files. In the moment of real character development, Ash is like, friends are more important than files. Even though maybe in this case they were equally as important, because now how are they supposed to justify power drilling Fox in the chest? Also, if you're wondering why they couldn't just drop the files and get them later, the floor is lava. No, seriously. Dino's like, surprise bitch, I ain't dead, even though he was shot twice in the chest by Fox, which I forgot to mention earlier, but Dino's like, whoops, blood loss, and falls off the side of the building to his death, and Blanca's like, yeehaw. Everything goes back to normal and they release the hostages. They don't get justice for Banana Fish, but they do manage to expose the child pornography and prostitution, and AG's getting ready to return to Japan with eBay. He's hoping Ash will show up to say bye to him at the airport, but he doesn't, and that's because Ash has a huge target on his back, and he doesn't want to put AG in any more danger, so AG asks Sing to deliver a message to him in hopes that they'll see each other again. Inside the envelope is a plane ticket to Japan for Ash and a letter which AG wrote to him saying that they'll meet again sometime, but jokes because Ash is stabbed. Instead of calling an ambulance, he goes into the library and sits down to read AG's letter again and again until he passes out from blood loss. The show ends with a librarian coming up to him and telling him that he's not supposed to sleep there, and because somehow she doesn't see him bleeding out under the table, and when he doesn't respond, she says it must be a nice dream you're having and walks away. And that's the end of Banana Fish. Fuck.